This summer, we headed out to Big Bend for a few days from Austin. It's a long drive, but we made it out to Terlingua and we were staying at the La Posada Milagro guest houses. We stayed in Mimi's bunk room. It's a small room with 4 bunk beds and good for a group if you're on a budget. The main AC was out, so they had a window unit, so it was pretty hot, but that's Terlingua in the summer. Nice view from the shower. This is one of the little outhouses. They've got some outdoor restrooms and showers for a few of the rooms. And really great views. This is the main outdoor kitchen area. They've got everything you need out there. Here are a couple of the other rooms. We had dinner at the Starlight Theater, which is the main restaurant in Terlingua, and sometimes they've got live music. This is a beautiful sunset, and we decided to head down to the cemetery to check it out. Definitely worth a visit. We caught the sunrise the next morning and headed down the little hill to Espresso y Poco Mas for some breakfast tacos and coffee. We were on our way to Big Bend Stables, and we did the 2-hour old mine tour. It was from, I think, 9:30 to 11:30, so not too hot yet. Really cool ride. I definitely recommend it. Not too short and not too long. Afterward, we stopped at the Terlingua Trading Company. They've got souvenirs, things like that. Stopped by the new coffee shop Venga. It was really cool. Really big space, dog friendly. And of course, Cottonwood General Store on the way to the park. Here we are arriving at the park and making our way up to the Chisos Basin. We decided to stay up here. It's a little bit cooler, and did a couple of the hikes up in the mountains. This is one of the Casa Grande Lodge rooms. I like these because they have AC and they have a little patio, and this one had a great view out toward the window. Here we are having dinner in the lodge. It's going to be torn down in the next year. Just some repairs that need to be done. We saw a sunset. This is the sunrise the next morning. We did the window trail. We got started around 8 a.m., but wish we would have started a little earlier. It does get really warm. It's 2 miles down, and people joke that it's 10 miles back up because it is uphill and you are in the sun. So I recommend it, but start early and bring lots of water. Blooming agave. So all of the water in the basin runs off down here when it is wet and goes over into a little waterfall at the window. Saw that man roaming around. So here you take a left to go down to the window, and you can take a right and go for a little while up the Oak Springs Trail, which we did just after we went and checked out the view. There's a few steps as you get closer, and it can be wet down there. I put a picture in because I didn't take much video down there. We came back up, went up Oak Spring. This is a beautiful view after about a 10-minute walk. I didn't get a lot of video coming back up because it was hot, but made it back up. That evening, we just did the quick little window view trail, which is just a couple minutes. This is looking back at our little spot for the few days and the beautiful sunset. Went up to the cottage area, saw some deer that evening. Got up really early the next morning, skipped the lodge breakfast, just ate in our room and got an early start for the Lost Mine Trail. It was much cooler over here, no sun just yet, just absolutely beautiful trail, highly recommend it. It's about the same as the window, couple miles up, couple miles down, but it's nice to be coming downhill when the sun starts coming up. Just absolutely amazing views. We did see a bear. It was pretty far away, but fun to see and not too scary with it being that far away. Heading back down. That afternoon, we headed toward Rio Grande Village, drove through the tunnel, and stopped at the scenic overlook out into the desert. We did go down to Rio Grande Village, but there were not many people down there. It's about 115 degrees in the summer. It did rain in the basin that afternoon. It was really cool. Didn't rain too much, but some water did collect down by the river. This is our last sunset in the basin. We went over to my favorite spot over by the cottages to watch the sunset. This is the next morning, got up early, said goodbye to the lodge, and headed down to Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. Caught a beautiful sunrise. A little bit of a water crossing heading out to Santa Elena Canyon, not too bad. Met a couple friends along the way. Here we are arriving at the canyon. And the river was dry. If it hadn't rained the night before, it might have been totally dry. We made a couple steps up, didn't get too muddy, but I do recommend bringing some kind of active sandals in case you've got to switch shoes to cross over. This is an absolutely beautiful hike, one of the most popular in the park for good reason. That's the scenic overlook on the way back out. We stopped at the Dorgan Sublet ruins, just the one close to the road, but I recommend doing that full 30-minute hike or so. And another desert overlook. We did stop in the Castellón historical area. Unfortunately, the store and visitor center did get caught in a fire a few years ago. There's mule ears and some beautiful purplish prickly pear. Another amazing overlook. And made our way back to Terlingua. One last stop at Espresso y Poco Mas, and headed out toward Lajitas. And on our way to Marfa, took FM 170. It goes for about 60 miles. It's just an absolutely beautiful drive. If you're headed to Marfa, you have to take this route. It is amazing. You go by Big Bend Ranch State Park and some really cool hoodoos. And here we are in Marfa. Our first stop was Ballroom Marfa. You cannot miss this gallery. It's really cool. And here we are at our Airbnb. It's Brian's little apartment right by the intersection. I definitely recommend it. There is no restroom door, so you want to make sure you're either alone or real comfortable with the people you're staying with. I definitely like to stay right in town so you can kind of just walk everywhere. Made a stop at El Cosmico. And we just drove by Chinati. It was about 4 p.m. and pretty hot to be walking around out there. And the obligatory trip to Prada Marfa. Decided to go at sunset. It was really nice to see it in that light, and just a beautiful sunset on the way back. We did have coffee and breakfast tacos at Sentinel the next morning. Didn't get much video of that, but heading out, and it was a great trip. You gotta make sure you get out to the Big Bend.